Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Matt Money Smith here from Believe in Chargers. Let's talk about Gusto. I appreciate you small business owners. You're the heartbeat of America, but at times, time can get away from you. Let Gusto take care of how your business operates. Automate your payroll. Get some HR with Gusto. It is the fastest way to cut friction so you can focus on what moves the needle and leads to success. So how does Gusto do it? Gusto is online payroll and benefits software built for small businesses. It is all in one, remote friendly, and incredibly easy to use so you can pay, hire, onboard, and support your team from anywhere. They're ranked number one on G2's highest satisfaction products list for 2026, and you'll be joining 400,000 small businesses that use Gusto. It is simple. It is quick to switch to Gusto. Just transfer your existing data to get up and running fast. Plus, don't pay a cent until you run your first payroll. So try Gusto today at gusto.com/believe. That's gusto.com/believe, BLEAV. And you're going to get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. Again, that is 3 months of free payroll at gusto.com/believe. Again, one more time, gusto.com/believe.
Welcome in, everyone, to today's edition of the Royals Rundown podcast presented by Royals Review. I am Jacob Milham, joined on the other side by the one and only Jeremy Greco. Jeremy, how are we feeling today?
I don't know about you, Jacob, but I'm feeling vindicated.
How are you feeling vindicated, Jeremy?
Because 2 weeks ago, Jacob, I started asking the question on this podcast, and then I asked it on Royals Review. I started asking a very important question. Should Jac Caglianone participate in the home run derby? And I got a lot of people responding saying only crazy, stupid, local Kansas City media would ask the question, should Jac Caglianone participate in the home run derby? No one outside of Kansas City would even think to ask that.
Yeah.
Jacob, Jac Caglianone was the third announced participant in the home run derby. We still only we're less than 4 days away. We still only know 5 of the participants, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's Junior Caminero, Ben Rice, Jac Caglianone, Wilson Contreras, and Jordan Walker of the St. Louis Cardinals. So, yeah. How about it?
Hey, you know what? I ain't going to complain. Cags is now the 6th Royal set to participate in the home run derby. You know, Bobby, he put together a great show in 24. We all remember that one. Salvi and his record-setting 2021. And then also I fondly remember Moose back in 2017 in the home run derby. Listen, this is one of those things. We all talk about Jac's raw power and the power potential. And boy, howdy, if you're going to showcase power potential, the home run derby is the spot to do it. I'm not mad about it at all. He has the raw talent to do it.
Some people are still going to whine because, well, he's tied for 19th in the American League in home runs. And gosh, my brain just farted. He's not an all-star. You know, he's not even an all-star injury replacement, at least not as of yet. I don't think Judge has been replaced on the roster yet.
I don't believe so.
And I don't know, Trout just came off the injury list. I don't know if he's going to actually play in the all-star game. So I feel like we've got a couple more replacements coming. But listen, the Derby has been kind of heading in this direction for a while now. More and more guys turn it down. It does seem like Kyle Schwarber wants to participate, but he's concerned about his back. Bryce Harper hasn't said one way or the other. Hunter Goodman said he wants to participate, but he hasn't been invited yet. And that does lead me to question, why is Jac invited before Hunter Goodman?
Because, okay, listen, we shouldn't be looking at home run production as this is why you should be in the home run derby. I don't think so. I don't think that's how it should be. I like that we are looking at the power potential of these players. Because sure, Jac Caglianone, he has a hole in his swing. We all see the hole. All right. We've seen it in action. We've seen it on the swing and miss and things like that. And just because Hunter Goodman plays in an even more bat-friendly environment than the Kansas City Royals does not mean that he should be a de facto option ahead of Jac Caglianone. And if you want to showcase your younger stars or guys who have the potential to be stars, Jac Caglianone has that more so than Hunter Goodman. I'm sorry, Hunter Goodman can miss me with that.
Really interesting. I think Hunter Goodman is one of the bright young stars in MLB right now. I hope he's also in the Derby. I hope Jack wins it. But and if you said, hey, Jeremy, would you like to see Jack or Hunter Goodman more? I'd say Jack, but that's because he's on my team. And he's my Italian-American, brother.
Fair enough.
I'm very much biased towards Jack. I just also think Hunter Goodman should have a place in the Derby. I've been pondering because it took a week between Junior Caminero declaring and then Ben Rice. I've been pondering if MLB is just having that much trouble finding guys to participate in the Derby that a lot of their top options said no. And that's, I think, where I come back to why isn't Hunter Goodman one of your top options? Like, not that Hunter Goodman necessarily deserves it over Jack, but that I think he also deserves it. I think he's a bright, young, powerful star, and I'd like to see him in the Derby. And so why isn't he one of the guys that you would have asked before now? That's, I don't know. It's the Derby is very weird to me in how they've gone about selecting participants. The All-Star Game and the Home Run Derby, I feel, are becoming less and less a thing that you earn, I guess, is where I'm going with this. Is not like you said, Jack is a guy with so much power potential, and he's got some swing and miss in his game, which is not a thing that you should be concerned about in the Home Run Derby.
Exactly.
So we're going to see some big jacks from Jack's bat. I'm certainly going to select him as the longest homer in the Derby when I get ready to do my predictions for the Home Run Derby. Will I pick him to win? Potentially. Junior Caminero is strong competition on that front, but Junior Caminero is the only guy currently announced to the Derby that I'm like, yeah, he could take Jack.
Absolutely.
I think Jack's got the rest of them, should have the rest of them beat easily. So you've got a point. I don't know. I'm kind of going in circles here. You've got a point that Jack deserves it, but the Derby's weird is my ultimate point.
So this is one of those things where, like, I'm not going to say Hunter Goodman doesn't deserve it, especially when you look at his home run production over the past 2 seasons. Sure, you absolutely have a case for that. But if you're going to look at him and say, well, he had 31 home runs last year, like he's a proven home run threat. Yeah, sure, Salvador Perez had 30 home runs last year. We're not talking about him in the home run derby, are we? Like,
I mean, maybe we should be if we're just looking for raw power potential and guys with swing and miss. He could be the commissioner's selection for the home run derby, like Justin Verlander, who's pitched one game this year, is the commissioner selection for the All-Star game, which he can't play in because he's hurt, just to put him on that one last All-Star roster. The reason I have a problem with any of this, because I don't super care who deserves to be in the All-Star game, other than I want all of the guys on my team that I think deserve it to be there all the time. The snubs are a big deal to the teams that get snubbed. Christopher Sanchez not making the All-Star game last year was a big deal to Phillies fans, and I get that. But when the way they're doing it is just guys that you want to see, big names, and up and comers, and I think that's entirely reasonable for an exhibition match like this. But also, guys have money tied to all-star appearances,
right?
So that's a little bit concerning to me. But I guess that's probably it's usually not a lot of money, and I probably shouldn't be super concerned about that.
I mean, valid points. All right, the one number that I want to focus on here with Jac Caglianone in the home run derby is 25. 25. So Jac Caglianone has 21 career MLB home runs. His expected home runs across his career in the Philadelphia Phillies home park are 25. That is tied for the most at any park. He tied with the Athletics, tied with the Reds. It's tied across the board with like 4 other teams for Jac Caglianone.
You're listening to this podcast, so I know you've got a curious mind. Here's a helpful fact you may not know yet. Drivers who switch and save with Progressive save over $900 on average. Pop over to Progressive.com, answer some questions, and you'll get a quick quote with discounts that are easy to come by. In fact, 99% of their auto customers earn at least one discount. Visit Progressive.com and see if you can enjoy a little cash back. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average 12-month savings of $946 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June 2024 and May 2025. Potential savings will vary.
You didn't start a business just to keep the lights on. You're here to sell more today than yesterday. You're here to win. Lucky for you, Shopify built the best converting checkout on the planet. Like the just one tapping, ridiculously fast acting, sky-high sales stacking, champion of checkouts. That's the good stuff right there. So if your business is in it to win it, win with Shopify. Start your free trial today at shopify.com/win.
So if he is going to put the ball over the wall, he has a pretty damn good shot of doing it there.
Yeah.
I will. So we'll wait and see a little bit of details. If y'all weren't tracking on like when the home run derby is and things like that, July 13th at 7 p.m. Kauffman Standard Time. It is going to be there in Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia. It is going to be streaming on Netflix. So yes, you have to get yet another streaming service if you want to watch all the baseball you possibly can. And yeah, it's just great. Just another lovely byproduct of modern day
based
baseball.
on how Netflix did opening day, I'm not excited for what the quality of this broadcast is going to be. So
Yeah.
I'll just throw that out there. But Jacob, what I am excited about is the home run derby victory chain. Have you seen this thing?
I have, yes, I have.
That giant Liberty Bell with
It's pretty
like
cool.
200 rubies on it. That's sweet, baby. I would wear that.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a proper celebration for 2026.
I'm like,
And
let me get Jack to win this thing, and then let's get a replica as a giveaway next year. Let's go that, I think.
See,
so I can get me one of those.
That would be pretty sick. I'm surprised they haven't done something with Team Italy this year. They
Yeah.
unless I'm thinking of a promotion, or I'm forgetting a promotion. Excuse me. I do want to shout out one thing on Netflix. I think it's cool that you can go back and watch the old home run derbies. I'm not saying like that's something I'm chomping at the bit to do, but if I'm looking for something to put on for noise in the background, a home run derby is like the perfect baseball noise to have in the background.
That is a solid move on Netflix's part.
Yeah.
But
Right.
anyone who's like ESPN when Salvador Perez was the home run derby, it was so bad. Netflix, I would almost guarantee is going to be worse.
Yep. I concur.
And instead of talking about Pete Alonso, they're going to be talking about Taylor Swift or something. It's not even going to be baseball related is the thing.
They're going to be advertising another live sports event that's coming up in a month or two.
Or
on
they'll be
Netflix.
like, Stranger Things cartoon. Go watch the Stranger Things cartoon. It's all we've got left.
I really freaking hope not. But anywho's, best of luck to Jack and the rest of the field out there. I just hope, genuinely, I hope it's just a good home run derby.
Yeah.
Like that's what I hope for.
The guys they've got, they're all good choices, I think. Jordan Walker might be the weakest choice. Well, no, Wilson Contreras, I'll say, is the weakest choice. He's got plenty of power. He just feels like the home runs aren't going to be massive bombs from him.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Walker, I take that way back about Jordan Walker, because as much difficulties he's had in his MLB career, and as much as he's cooled off from the extremely hot start, power, much like Jack, is something he brings to the table. So, and obviously Junior Caminero is everything that Jack and Jordan want to be.
And hey, also, I forgot to shout out Jac Caglianone, who is Jack's dad, who's going to be pitching to him. I always think that's a cool part of the derby. Like, come on, if you're, I forget what tennis event we're in right now, but like there was some dad up in the, what'd you say?
Wimbledon.
Thank you. There was some dad up in the stands redoing the grip, and on his kid's racket and like passed it down to the court. Like it's just cool to still see parents involved, how they can be at the highest level of the respective sport.
I think Ben Rice's dad is going to be throwing to him too.
I think so. I think so. So hey,
I know at least one other dad is going to be throwing out there. So yeah, that's pretty cool to like the Royals. I don't know if they still do, but they used to have the Father's Day road trip that they would do every year, and that was super cool. But like, just as a thank you to your parents for all the hard work that they had to do to help you get to the big leagues, because the travel ball is hell on a parent's schedule too. To be like, hey, Dad, you want to be on the field for the home run derby? Let's go.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It
now
is.
let's get some moms out there throwing like girls for the home run derby, huh?
That would be fun. That would be fun to see a mom incorporated somehow.
All
right, let's go.
Can I transition from there for you?
Yeah, sure.
Throwing like girls, Women's Professional Baseball League just announced all their new team names.
Hey,
you got, let's see if I can do this off the top of my head.
Okay.
You got the New York Heights.
Yep.
You got the Boston Hunters.
Yep.
You got the San Francisco Firebells.
Yep. There's
and
one more.
The Los Angeles. Nope, I can't do it. I lost it.
The Los Angeles Queens.
The Queens, of course. I knew that. Because that was such a weird one. Because I was like, if I see a team named Queens, I'm immediately thinking New York because of the borough. Yeah. But yeah,
I
Los
agree.
Angeles Queens. And if you read why they're named all of those names, it's super cool, y'all. I think I'm leaning towards being a Firebells fan just because Firebell is a very unique name, and also their logo is a phoenix in the shape of a bell, which I love. I also love the Boston Hunters because, an osprey ain't that different from a hawk. Obviously, I love hawks, being Hawkeyes over here. So I am leaning towards the Firebells, but we could go Hunters. We'll have to see. I can't see myself as a fan of the Queens, but anything could happen. Anything. And the logos are all really nice looking, and they're starting their season on August 1st. According to my research, they're going to be streaming games for free on YouTube, so you don't have to. No additional streaming services necessary. You can just watch some baseball, and I'm very excited to watch some women's professional baseball. I might carve out a corner of the podcast for talking about women's professional baseball when we get there.
Okay. I definitely think I will be watching a few games at least to see what the product looks like, how the production is, et cetera, et cetera. A few, I remember Monet Davis, who is an absolute sensation in Little League.
Yeah, I remember
she's going to be playing for the Los Angeles Queens. I also
I said I couldn't be a queen of the fan of the Queens. Queen of the fans? I probably can't be a queen of the fans.
No.
But Monet Davis, that's a big draw.
Yep. That it is. So hey, go check them out on YouTube. There's plenty of recounts of hey, this is the person who inspired the team name and things like that. They got it up on ESPN. They got it up on the Women's Professional Baseball League social media, things like that. So go check them out. And I'm all for supporting upstart baseball and softball. I fully believe that competition is a good thing, and even if the level of play might not be up to the highest level available in that respective sport, I still think it's fun. There's still ways that you can capture attention and ultimately entertain fans.
Yeah, it's not like the NPB or the KBO they're not necessarily major league quality, but they're still excellent baseball to watch.
Yes.
And the WNBA has been taken off. So I'm very excited to see what the WPBL can learn from all of these different leagues. Hopefully they don't learn too much from MLB, because as much as I enjoy MLB, they do a lot of stuff I don't like. So I'd like to see the WPBL come up with an easier to say acronym, but I'd like to see them succeed in the way that some of these other leagues have succeeded.
Yeah, that would be very nice. What wasn't very nice, unfortunately, is the Kansas City Royals dropping the series finale today at the New York Mets. Very, very kind of I don't even. It was a flop of a game from Michael Wacha, 4 2/3 innings, 6 earned runs with 3 walks to 5 strikeouts. Just not the sharpest game for the All-Star pitcher. And
he's focused on the All-Star game is the problem.
yeah,
He's looking
absolutely.
ahead.
That's the problem here. That's the problem here. Yeah, 7-3. Heading into the series, we were talking about like how the Royals and Mets were kind of similarly dumpster fires, and outside of that series opening win, which was absolutely freaking bananas,
Oh my gosh.
the Mets looked like the better team. That's what it all boiled down to, and I'm kind of tired of that being the case for the Royals.
I'm not sure the Mets didn't look like the better team in that first game either. The Royals just, I don't know, they just kept scoring runs for no reason. Tyler Tolbert took over is what happened.
Yes, let's go ahead and talk about Tyler Tolbert, the usually just the pinch runner, usually the guy you don't want to see in the lineup. Well, he has tied the MLB record with 12 consecutive hits in 12 straight plate appearances. He did that in his 5-hit day on July 7th. Unfortunately, his hitting streak came to an end on the 8th, and he did have a hit today when he was in the lineup against the Mets. So he is still rocking and rolling when he gets on the field, for lack of better terms. But this was absolutely the guy like I would not have anticipated rattling off these hits, but he just kept putting the ball in play. He kept on legging out these singles, and it just worked.
I believe 5 of the hits were infield singles.
Wow.
And he added 2 home runs and a double to that. So
Yes. Yep.
It's not like he didn't ever hit the ball out of the infield, but it's Tyler Tolbert, man. I would have figured Bobby Witt, if you'd asked me which Royal is going to tie this record held by a guy from 1954, and I would have said, well, Bobby Witt has to be. And then I would have gone through every player, probably a couple guys in the minors before I got to Tyler Tolbert.
Yeah.
He
Hey,
also
he is go ahead.
He tied another record with back-to-back 5-hit games that is held by Roberto Clemente and a guy whose first name is High, and I don't remember his last name. So just records all over the place for Tyler Tolbert.
Yeah, and this record was the most in the expansion era, so since the late 60s. The record that it ties is very, very old. Johnny Kling from 1902 and Walt Dropo, I think is how you say the name, in 1952. So very different eras of baseball.
Some people will point to the almost tying of the record that was performed by I think it's Brooks Lee on the Twins. It was somebody on the Twins, one of their young guys who I don't even think is there anymore, who he got 12 hits in 12 at bats, but he had a hit by pitch in there. So it was 13 plate appearances. So it's not quite the same thing. In some ways, you could argue that's more impressive because that's 13 straight plate appearances reaching, but 12 hits in 12 plate appearances belongs only to Tyler Tolbert and those 2 guys you mentioned.
Yep. And that bat that he used to get number 12, well, it is heading to Cooperstown for display, and I don't think that's going to be coming out of the case anytime soon. So congratulations to Tolbert. He's gotten recognized within the organization a couple of times for his hitting skills. He was the George Brett Hitter of the Year not too long ago, but he doesn't have a whole lot of opportunities in his major league career. Only 92 at-bats at the major league level, and he made the most of his run here in 2026. So let's see if this is something where it's just a flash in the pan or something that we'll see more of to close out 2026.
It was Jose Miranda.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Did that. Yeah. And he was granted free agency after 2025, and he signed with the Padres in January as a minor league free agent, and then they cut him on May 20th, and he is currently unemployed. So if the Royals want to pair up 2 of the best hitters of the last 50 years, they could do it.
Oh, that'd be funny. That would be funny. All right. Well, unfortunately, I don't want to talk about how crazy Tuesday night's game was. Honestly, like it was crazy, but it was also like crazy in all the worst ways. that 3-error play from the Royals was just a microcosm of how cuckoo bananas that game was. I would highly suggest, if you missed it, instead of watching the highlights, go check out Craig Brown's post on it. Go read that line by line and just be along for the ride and enjoy it.
I find it entertaining. It's so ridiculous that I can't even be mad about it. I just laugh at it.
It's just one of those, like last episode we were talking about the Royals' defensive issues, and like that was, I want the Royals to have something that they can hang their hat on, and at least when they were bad, you could usually say, hey, they're a competent fielding team. At least their pitching might allow the ball to go over the wall where you can't catch it, but that's neither here nor there. They are just trending worse than, what'd you say?
I said it's way over there.
Yeah, it's way, way, way over there. But which do you think is more embarrassing for the Royals? The 3-error play or Daniel Lynch nailing Nick Lofton in the gonads?
It's got to be the 3-error play.
You think so?
Because that's the Daniel Lynch play was a physical error in that he misthrew the ball, right? The Royals' 3-error play is, first of all, 3 guys making physical errors instead of 1. But then it's also 2 guys making mental errors. Because, well, first of all, Lugo throws that ball and pretty much everyone agrees that Caglianone probably should have scooped that Lugo's throw wasn't that bad. It looks difficult to scoop to me, but I was notoriously awful at first base when I played in Little League. So what do I know? Not much. But then the mental error of Jac Caglianone to just throw that to nowhere. Maybe it slipped out of his hand when he realized he wasn't sure where he wanted to throw it, but yeah. And then Nick Lofton picks up the ball and the play is to third, and Lugo and Witt are both yelling at him to throw it to third, and he still throws it home and misthrows it. So the Royals could have been out of the inning with 2 runs allowed, and instead it was 3 runs allowed, and then Lugo had to face another batter who he got out on 1 pitch. So whatever, but it could have, I mean, if they'd not done any of the errors, it could have been out of the inning with no runs scored. But
Jeremy, I think we're forgetting something very important that we talked about in the last podcast. It's those
what's that?
darn oily stitches.
Oh, yes, the oily baseballs. Apparently it had been raining and the field was wet. I don't know.
That I didn't know either. But yeah, it was a pretty ugly play, and I definitely felt I was cringing at that play. I felt more pain on the Daniel Lynch, Nick Lofton play.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
What would you do if your online store converted 36% more shoppers? You could take 36% more vacation.
Another pina colada? Yes, please.
Open a new retail location with 36% more square feet.
Fantastic.
Hire 36% more help.
You're hired and you're hired.
Shopify has the world's best converting checkout, up to 36% better than other e-commerce platforms. What you do with those extra sales is up to you. Switch to Shopify today at shopify.com/listen and get a $1 trial. Shopify.com/listen.
But the Royals can't rest for too long. They're heading just down the interstate to visit the Baltimore Orioles for their last 3 games ahead of the All-Star break, a much-needed All-Star break. We got Luinder Avila, Noah Cameron, and Seth Lugo going for the Royals against Brandon Young, Kyle Bradish, and Shane Baz. So we shall see who comes out on top there. It's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then Monday, like we said, is the Home Run Derby. But something happening on Saturday we need to talk about, the 2026 MLB Draft. Jeremy, I know just how much you love the draft.
I'm such a big draft head, Jacob. You know, I know everything about every college prospect. Go ahead, give me a name and I'll tell you everything about him.
Drew Burris.
He plays baseball.
Okay, that's good one. Tyler Bell.
He plays baseball.
That is true. That is true. Let's see here. Wow. I'm really bad at pronouncing names. Cameron Flukie.
He plays baseball.
Yes, they all play baseball, folks. Don't you worry about it. So here's the thing. Let's talk about some meat and potatoes that Royals fans should be aware of. So the Royals, thankfully, have the 6th overall pick, and this was them actually getting lucky in the draft lottery for once. So I will gladly take that. But also, they have the 30th overall pick, the 56th, and the 91st. So 4 picks within the top 100 overall picks is not too shabby at all, and should hopefully give the Royals some ammunition both in overall selections and in that bonus pool. Jeremy, all cards on the table. I know, draft prospects not your thing, but I do want to get your opinion on something. With all the rumors circulating about who the Royals could or couldn't be taking, what they're looking for, what they aren't looking for, if you were leading that draft room, would you prioritize the speed that a player can get to the major leagues and contribute, or their overall ceiling as a player?
I think when you're talking about the draft, overall ceiling has to be the goal, because it's such a crapshoot as to whether anyone you can draft guys. Take Gavin Cross. He was supposed to be this near ready guy who's going to race through the system, and now it looks like he may never actually make it to the big leagues. So you got to just go for the guy with the most ceiling, because if you get a guy to the big leagues, you want him to be a star, and you want him to contribute as much as possible. If you get a guy that's got a high floor and supposed to go fast, but not necessarily a high ceiling, you're going to end up with probably best case scenario a Nick Lofton. Now, Nick Lofton, I think, has proven this year he is a valuable major league contributor. But you can also find a dozen Nick Loftons on the waiver wire at any given moment. So that can't be your priority when you're drafting. It's got to be we're looking for stars. We're painting for gold. We're digging for diamonds. We're not looking for some tin and be like, yeah, cool. Tin is worth some money. We've profited some. We're looking to strike it rich.
Yeah, and there have been multiple, I would just straight up say, conflicting reports about what direction the Royals could go. I think that also gets played in by the fact that they're at the transition point for this draft class. Like, there are, I would say, a pretty consensus top 6 guys. But depending who that 6th guy is, or what the teams in front of you may or may not do, well, the Royals have a choice. Could they try to play the slot games and go get like a collegiate guy at 6?
No more.
I don't want them to play slot games. I really don't. However, just like they noted on Kaufman Corner, I'm stealing another one of their points. I think Lesky did point out, hey, that's why they got Carter Jensen right now, because they played those slot games.
And how many times has it not worked is my question.
It's not worked a lot of times. A lot of times.
Yeah. So,
I'm not saying it's a perfect thing, but I am saying, like, there have been recent rewards to that approach for the Royals. Now, Frank Mazzucato is a whole other story. We don't talk about Frank Mazzucato.
And that was another thing Lesky pointed out, right? Was that you don't have to draft crap for the first pick you have to play underslot games, which is what the Royals have done far too often.
Yeah, they've really gone down the board to pick these guys, and that has been the big issue. There's not really one guy that mock drafts are settling on. We're seeing anything from Jacob Lombard to Eric Booth Jr. to Jackson Flora. I've seen, Drew Burris is a guy that, hey, he's the quick mover that the Royals could look at. I think Baseball America is who put that out.
I really like Drew Burris, not because he's a quick mover, but because he's got a good swing already and a good eye already. Those are things that appeal to me. One of the reasons I didn't like when the Royals drafted Jack is he had a lot of swing and miss in his game, and there was a concern about how that would play up in the big leagues. And I think we're seeing that the swing and miss is going to prevent him from ever being Judge. It's going to make him kind of a streaky guy. It's going to make him closer to an O'Neal Cruz, which O'Neal Cruz is not a bad outcome. O'Neal Cruz is a useful player. And I think Jac is ultimately going to be a useful player. And hopefully as things continue, we'll see him refine. And we saw for a period, it felt like he'd stopped swinging at those right-handed sliders and he started swinging at them again. Hopefully we'll see him find more and longer hot streaks. But, if they had JJ Weatherholt, who's the guy I wanted them to draft there, would things be better? JJ Weatherholt is better this year than Jac is. So it's hard to say for 100% certainty. I certainly, as we've discussed, I'm not a draft head, but I just look at very top level stuff. And Booth is a guy I do not want the Royals to draft because he's all speed and a lot of swing issues that you're going to have to fix. And fixing swing issues, and I'm not even going to say this is a Royals problem. It's hard for any team to fix swing issues in a prospect.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's not the guy I want for 6th overall.
Okay. All right. I completely understand. Now, here's something that Fangraphs did point out courtesy of Eric Longenhagen, who, first and foremost, Eric has Jacob Lombard, the prep shortstop, heading to the Royals at 6th overall. But regarding the hit tool, here is something that he pointed out. Scouting director Brian Bridges has had an appetite for hit tool risk before, naming Jac Caglianone and the top 2 picks last year in Sean Gamble and Josh Hammond of all the top picks in Bridges' 2 drafts as the Royals director. And this is something that he had with the San Francisco Giants when he drafted guys like Bryce Eldridge, Reggie Carter, and Walker Martin, all like big prospects in that system who have big hit tool issues. And Jacob Lombard is one of those guys who has a questionable hit tool. And he still goes down into but the Royals could play the slot games and looks at Jared Grindlinger, Gio Rojas, and USC lefty Mason Edwards, who I think Keith Law had mocked to the Royals in his latest mock draft. Like it's all over the place. It really is. And like I kind of like that for the Royals. I do. There's definitely a conversation about like, well, the industry might just not have an in with the Royals, or we might not have a long enough track record on the current Royals administration. I think that's valid. But also, if I was leading the room, I would have like a few guys marked. Sure, I would have my own draft board, as you should. Shouldn't be going off of MLB.com's draft board when you're freaking actually drafting for a team. But I would say,
They already
okay,
did all that work, Jacob. Why should I redo it? That's what AI is using someone else's work instead of your own. And that's the big thing these days, right? So yeah, let's go ahead and we'll just conglomerate everyone else's draft boards and boom, there's our draft board. We're good to go. We don't need anything else.
Just imagine the conversation that would be had in Kansas City if Truman Sports Complex is a data center in 10 years.
I don't think they're going to have to worry about that because I don't think they're going to still be building them for that much longer, but that's a separate discussion.
Yeah, that's a whole other discussion right there. But all that to say, like, okay, if the board falls this way, we should be ready. We should have ins. Like JJ Piccolo and the team, they've posted about it on social media. They were talking about it on the radio broadcast, things like that. They are rightfully doing their homework and putting in the legwork to be ready for, I would say, nearly anything at 6th overall. And if multiple of these top 6 guys are available when the Royals pick, great. They have a choice. And like that would ultimately be the best option.
I think the best option would be for the first 5 teams to lose their minds and forget to draft Rock Chalowski. They're like, I can't figure out how to spell his last name. We're not drafting him. And then let the Royals go for it.
That would be nice. That would be nice. Which I will say, the Rock Chalowski fall has kind of started. It feels like he's not the consensus top overall prospect in the draft anymore. He is. I'm seeing him more in these 3, 4, 5 mock drafts than I am with him number 1 overall.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I wouldn't be surprised about it.
Jac Caglianone was expected to get drafted before the Royals could get to him.
Yep, exactly.
I'm not sure what Rock Chalowski's hit tool is. I just know that That's the name I've heard for a year. So I'm if he falls to 6, I think you got to pull that trigger for sure.
Well, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So a little bit of hard information, so y'all can tune in for the draft. We talked about streaming services and things like that. That applies no differently this coming weekend. Picks 1 through 10 only will be on NBC or Peacock, and then picks 11 through 40 will be on MLB Network, MLB.com, or MLB TV. And then we go down to picks 41 through 135 will be on MLB.com and MLB TV. And then day 2, which is going to be Sunday, July 12th, is rounds 5 through 20. We have an absolute marathon from 11:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, which is all going to be on MLB.com and MLB TV. So I don't like that you have to jump around so much just for the first round. Just for the opening night?
You can't even carry the whole first round?
No. Can't even carry, just picks 1 through 10.
Never mind the networks. MLB's like, we're going to make the draft as big as the NFL draft. Do you see the networks are fighting for the whole NFL draft? And when you get to MLB, they're like, I'll take the top 10, but I don't want anything after that.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez Louise.
Also,
can you imagine if ESPN was like, we'll only take the top 10 NFL draft picks, and then you got to get someone else to cover the rest of the first round?
What a drop off, right? Like, imagine that happening. You have ABC for picks 1 through 10, and then you go to the NFL app or like NFL
ESPN
Network, which
8.
ESPN, the Ocho.
But yeah, I mean, it makes sense though, because anyone who's picked after 10, you're not going to hear from for a very long time, probably.
Usually so. That 24
if ever.
draft class is turning that opinion around a little bit.
The 24 class, there was almost not a bad pick in the first round. Like whoever you took in the first round, you were going to have someone worth having.
I definitely think we're going to be talking about that class extensively within like 5 years.
Connor Griffin
Could have, but man, like
I keep talking about J.J. Weatherholt, but they could have had Connor Griffin.
True. Could you imagine an infield of Maikel Garcia, Bobby Wood Jr., and Connor Griffin? That would have been really nice. Actually, he might have stuck in center field if he landed with the Royals, truthfully.
Might have.
But neither here nor there. Also, one thing that we were talking about, the floor versus ceiling thing earlier on, I think one guy that really exemplifies that is, the Los Angeles Angels have their own issues at the minor league and the major league level,
and the ownership and the front office and the management.
Yeah. They tried to play these like high floor quick mover games at second overall last year when they picked Tyler Bremner. And right now Bremner is still in high A. He's got a 4.24 ERA in his 11 starts. He's getting plenty of strikeouts, but he is getting hit all around the ballpark. So it's not a sure thing. There should never be a sure thing in the draft. And I would lean more towards ceiling rather than floor.
Yeah, when it comes to the draft, I just don't think there is a floor. Whatever you think is the floor, that's not the floor. The floor doesn't ever make it to AAA, So, and that's true for every single draft pick, except for possibly Paul Skeens.
Yeah.
Who is struggling this year, by the way.
Paul Skeens is not looking like the best pitcher in the Pittsburgh Pirates rotation right now. Like that is where he is at. That's what it is. Gosh darn it.
Everyone except Bobby.
Hey,
and PCA.
And PCA, yeah, he's having a great season. So, all right, folks, if you've been reading or if you've been doing your best to keep track of the draft stuff, I would love to hear in the comments about who you're looking at, who you would like the Royals to draft, not to draft. There will be plenty of opinions when that selection comes in at 6th overall on Saturday. So I would suggest if you got Peacock already, tune in, or at least just keep an eye on social media, and we'll have a
draft spread on Royals Review where everyone will be discussing it too.
There you go.
Lots of people, lots of readers who know more about drafting than I do, though not as much about the home run derby.
Hell yeah. Also, one other note about Jac Caglianone, I did not realize that he has the longest average home run distance.
Yes.
So that is another reason. Oh yeah, tied for it.
He's got the third most home runs in the American League since the beginning of June, behind only Caminero, and Kurtz.
So that's pretty good. It's a pretty good spot to be at. Jeremy, you got anything else on the Royals to talk about?
Yeah, just real quick, wanted to highlight that the Missouri workers has been really pushing for this petition to force the Kansas City government to bring the stadium stuff to a ballot measure rather than run it all their own way. And I'm still trying to get information on what this means, but their petition was deemed valid earlier this week. So City Clerk Marilyn Sanders confirmed the news with Fox 4 on Monday. She said the number of signatures needed for a valid petition was 2,068, and the number of valid signatures received was 3,776. So I don't know. Apparently, the city council has 60 days to act, but I don't know what their options are. I'm trying to reach out to Missouri workers and see if I can get them to fill me in on what exactly is going on here, so that then I
Okay.
can inform you all.
All right. We absolutely love the boots on ground, how we can provide it. So thank you very much, Jeremy. Hopefully we'll be hearing more about that later on. I'm ready to rock and roll into reviews. Like I know we didn't talk about the Major League product a whole lot this episode, but like right now there wasn't a whole lot to talk about. It's
I
more of
mean,
the same.
since Sunday, all that really happened that mattered is the 3-error play and Tyler Tolbert.
Yeah.
I
Lane Thomas
Jack
is
did
hot,
hit
I
a
guess.
double in each of the 3 Mets games,
That's
so
fun.
that counteracts some of the striking out he's doing at least.
Also, Royals,
I
please.
continue to watch primarily for Jack, Bobby, and Carter right now.
I think that's the correct approach to have. Also, Royals, just go ahead and trade Lane Thomas right now. I think he's like on a 7-game extra base hitting streak, which is bananas for him. So please, just move on. We know he needs to be traded anyways. Just make the move now. All right, let's go ahead and get into reviews. I would like to start off, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
So this past weekend, I watched a cheesy Netflix movie that was on top of all the rankings. I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and give it a shot. We've talked about their second screen experience. I did not get that from this movie, which I enjoyed, which is called Voicemails for Isabel. It's a 2026 rom-com that stars Zoe Deutsch, I think is how you say her last name, excuse me, and Nick Robinson. And the whole premise is this. Zoe plays a girl named Jill who is trying to cope with the loss of her sister, Isabel. She starts like calling her sister's number and leaving voicemails on her phone number, but that number has been reassigned to a guy named Wes who is using it as his work phone. And this guy uses that information to get an in with her and to establish a relationship with her. It's
Sounds terrifying.
Yes. It's can definitely have a creepy turn if you wanted to skew it that way. It was not that. I liked it so much because it didn't focus as much on their relationship. It focused on, hey, this girl needs to like properly grieve and move on from her sister's death and embrace that before she can move on to other things in her life. I think it shows the power that non-romantic love can have, like love for a parent, love for a sibling, and things like that. So I liked it. I would suggest it, especially like if you have a sister, or like a strong sibling relationship. I would suggest going and checking it out. Also, it's not that long, which was nice, or at least it didn't feel very long. It was very well paced. So go check out Voicemails for Isabel. Jeremy.
I'm going to review What Else, Jacob? An Apple TV series.
Gasp.
So this one is called The After Party. Have you heard of The After Party, Jacob?
I have not.
So this is a murder mystery series. I think it's 8 episodes. The first season is 8 episodes, and then the second season is another 8 episodes. I don't know that it's going to get a third season. They're self-contained. So you can, if you watch the first season, it ends, and you don't ever have to watch the second season if you don't want to. But so The After Party is a bunch of people get together for a high school reunion, and they go to an after party at this one guy's house who turned into like this superstar actor, singer, and he ends up dead. And so then each episode is an unreliable narrator telling the story of the night in their own genre. So the first night is a character, Anik, telling the story as a rom-com, telling the story of the night as a rom-com. And then the second episode is the story of Jasper, or is Jasper telling his version of events in the form of a musical.
Okay.
And then there's like all the, so you got different genres happening here. You've got unreliable narrator, you've got murder mystery. It reminds me a lot of the Knives Out movies, but as an 8-episode series instead of a 2-hour movie, and without as many big name actors. There's only a couple people whose names I even recognized in the series. So it does not lean on star power as much as those movies do, and it's a little bit goofier than the Knives Out series, I would say, but it's murder mystery, and you've got kind of a weird kind of cop trying to solve this thing, and you're never really sure, like, are they really good at their job or really bad at their job? I don't know what's happening, and you get to see, like, oh, this, the way one person tells the story makes that person looks like the killer, and then the next person tells the story makes the other person looks like the killer, and on and on and on. It's really just, it's so much fun. I just had so much fun with the different genre shifts, and with, a murder mystery with unreliable narrators is so much fun. And especially, like, it really puts to the test this whole idea of everyone has their own version of events, and they're not lying. They're just, that's how they experienced everything.
Yeah.
So it had me rolling on the floor and just dying for the next episode to see what the mystery, what was going to happen next. And I did not see the killer coming. I had no clue that the killer was the killer. I probably should have, but I did not catch the hints. So I feel like if I don't know who the killer is, I'm not the best at figuring it out, but I'm not the worst either. So if I don't know, I figure it's done a pretty good job of setting things up without overplaying its hand.
Okay. All right. I like to hear that, Jeremy. I'll have to, and Apple TV Plus never misses, seems like.
Pretty much.
So, all right, folks. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode of the Royals Rundown podcast presented by Royals Review. We appreciate you joining along for the ride. As a reminder, make sure you subscribe or follow the podcast wherever you're listening to us at, or you can just find each and every episode available on royalsreview.com, alongside with the great work that goes on there at the site and the excellent comment community over there, keeping things lively regarding the Royals in their downward spiral. I am Jacob Milham. They're Jeremy Greco. Thank you so much for joining us. And until next time, go Royals.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.